I walked away feeling like, okay, this feels like Fable in 2026. At least that's how I felt. I think it's mostly because like the living population stuff, they really drilled home that element of things, which was obviously a really fun element of the original games, where kind of like how they described in the showcase, like all of that was like low key, almost like a game within a game. You know what I mean? So I thought the living population stuff was super sick. The combat itself looks fine. I mean, I'm gonna get by with it. I'm gonna have fun with it, but I'm mostly excited for just the world and the living population and stuff. What did you take away from it? Did you walk away impressed, or just kind of like, it looks fine?
I walked away from it being like, okay, it looks fine. Uh, but I've gone from I've gone from what we kind of talked about, which is show me something, show me that it's real. And now I'm kind of sitting in that area of, okay, I mean, you showed me that it's real and it's like it sounds kind of interesting what you're doing, but now everything they've talked about like lives or dies on how it feels.
True.
So for me, now I'm like, I mean, I went from I don't know about it to I'll play it, but whether I'm gonna enjoy it or not is gonna it entirely depend on how it feels because the way that they showed it off and the way that they like explain their world and everything, it's entirely based on like user interaction and user choice,
Hmm.
which means you can't really just tell someone how good it's going to be because if it really is based off of user choice and how you play the game, everybody's going to have the same game, but it's going to be a little bit different.
Yeah.
So it's one where I'm like I don't know if I'd say I'm excited for it, but I'm gonna play it now.
Right. Yeah. No, you're actually in now. No, I mean everything that I saw, like I walked away again super impressed. But I do understand what you mean. So how's it going to feel? Because like, I guess the biggest thing is how's that combat going to feel? Because they really drove home that what you play the game how you want, like
Yeah,
you
it
finish enemies how you want, kind of thing. But it's gonna
the
really depend on how it feels. Like for
the
me, and just
combat
like
looks the combat mostly looks whatever.
yeah,
It's a serviceable combat. The by far the coolest thing about any of the combat they showed was the spells.
mm,
Like the spells and the magic in the game were by far cooler than anything else.
true.
The melee combat was it was whatever melee combat. And then like the range stuff, they had some cool looking ranged weapons
Yeah,
and
yeah,
like that looked like they interacted cool for combat, but for the most part, nothing looked exceptional except the magic.
yeah. No,
The
I
magic,
can agree with
the
that.
magic when they actually used it, it looks impressive. It feels impressive, which if you're the first hero in a generation and that's what kind of defines you, the ability to use it,
You want it to feel that,
it better
yeah,
be good,
yeah.
and
It
it
better
looks
deliver.
good.
Yeah, no, I agree. That was one of the things that I took away from was the how great the magic looked, and like I agree too. Some of the range stuff looked cool, like like that X crossbow they had and stuff like that, and also just the kind of swapping between the different combat styles as well. Something else they kind of showed too. But like you said though, the combat for it is serviceable. That's the main thing. The environments I will say I thought looked really sick. I got really excited by a few of the environments, like the overgrown like vegetable patch and like the forest with the giant mushrooms and stuff. Like stuff like that looked really cool. And the whole game is open world pretty much from early on in the game. Um, the biggest thing that's gonna be how it's gonna feel though is really gonna be like what kind of what you alluded to of just all those choices. How's that going to feel and work? Like they kind of like dove into it a little bit where, every town can have a different opinion of you. Like, everything's subjective, which everything about the 1000 NPCs all romanceable and all have their own things and every house you can walk into and every home you can actually purchase. All that kind of feels like super ambitious where it's like it kind of gives me that slight bit of caution. It's like, all right, are you going to actually be able to knock it out of the park with this living population and like everything about it?
See, by my, I I could be the odd one out here. My take on that of like, oh, we have 1,000 handcrafted NPCs that all have their own unique dialogue. You can romance, you can do everything. being able to walk into every house. My attitude on that is sure. That I mean, I don't I don't need to be able to walk into every single house. I don't need every NPC I talk to have its own unique dialogue. And it's like I don't need all of that, but it's like if that's it better work and it better feel natural in the game.
Yeah, yeah.
Otherwise, it's like the game better make me feel like I want to go talk to all of the characters because otherwise I'm just not gonna do it.
Yeah, you'll
I'm
talk
gonna
to the
talk to
handful.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
talk to a couple of them to see what it's like how the dialogue and everything works. But it's like it's like the only part about like their system with all the NPCs and that I actually like the sound of. Not that I don't like it necessarily. I just didn't have a better way to phrase it. Is all the characters remembering things
Yeah.
about you?
Yeah.
So if your character looks or acts like rich in that, they'll just yell insults at you as you're
Yeah.
walking by. That's the only part of it that I'm like, okay, that feels or that looks like it'll feel interesting at least.
Right.
It's like the rest of it. It's like I don't care if you have 1,000 people that I could romance, or if I could buy every building that exists in the world. I'm never gonna walk around and do all that.
Right. Do you think like a little bit of like any sort of hesitancy that like either of us have just comes with the timeline of this game and just like what this game's been through? Because that thought crossed my mind
It,
watching it, of
it's
where it's like,
it's less about that. It's like it's the large focus that they put on those aspects of the game,
mm,
where it's like because for me, I'm like I'm gonna be interested in exploring in the gameplay aspect of it, and it seems like you like Playground was a lot more like they did that, but by far they were much more interested in
the living
the town
population.
and the people
Yeah.
and the population and that aspect of it. And I'm like, we're talking about an action adventure game here. I'm interested in the action adventure part of it,
Right.
and I'll do the interacting with people part of it when I have to. But it's like most of their showcase was about the systems of people and all of that. I'm like, that's the less important part for me.
Yeah, for you, yeah. Do you think a possibility of why it was such a huge focus is because, like, number 1, that is what everyone, like, loved so much about the original Fables, and number 2, like, maybe Playground is just kinda pushing it in a sense of like, "Hey, you already know what we can do in an open world type environment, like, just trust us on this." Like, do you think it has a little bit to do with that, or it's like, they have a reputation of making these, like, super beautiful, gorgeous worlds with Forza Horizon, and they're just, like, hoping that you trust that they did it here?
Well, it's less about the like landscapes and like how good the game's gonna look and that. Because yeah, they make open world games, but they don't make open world like
Adventure
combat
game. Yeah,
games.
exactly, yeah.
So it's like I would rather them show off a lot more of that to make me trust that a little bit better because the combat that we've seen, like we said, it looks like whatever melee combat,
Yeah. Serviceable.
and it's like
Good word.
it's like it's there, but it's like every good action adventure game has to have decent combat
Yeah.
or like a reason to explore the world. But it's like I get people liked it from the original Fable games, the original trilogy, and that. I liked it in the original trilogy, but it was also those games are a lot more like they're a lot smaller in scale compared to what it looks like they're trying to do here.
Yeah.
If you're going into the open, if you're making an open world and go and do whatever, okay, I'm gonna go explore the world. Meanwhile, you're telling me about all the stuff that's available for me to do in your towns along the way.
Yeah.
Granted, they're going to be big towns with a lot of stuff to do,
Right.
a lot of quests, a lot of interactions to have there. But at the same time, I want to be out exploring the world.
Yeah.
and seeing what you actually put out there for me.
Yeah.
If I end up spending most of my time in the cities, that's where I find open world games miss the plot sometimes.
Yeah, it kind of slightly reminds me of whenever you talked about Avowed and how like each of those worlds, like once you beat everything, those worlds were just kind of empty, you know? Because they didn't you say they didn't respawn?
Yeah, yeah. It was like once you beat all the enemies in the area. I don't know if that ever changed, but when I played it, once you killed all the enemies, you just roam around and do whatever. Nothing ever respawned. So it's like
Yeah,
you would just walk around an empty zone.
yeah.
Besides, like
It
where the NPCs were designated to be.
Yeah, it just kinda makes the world feel, like, empty and lifeless, you know? So, like, I can get where you're coming from because like, that's one thing like, while we know the world is gonna look unbelievably gorgeous, as we also saw from not only the Fable, trailer, but just from the Forza Horizon 6, like, you know they're gonna deliver on a beautiful looking landscape and world and everything, but, you know, is it gonna feel lively? You know, from
Yeah,
the little bit they
put,
showed, it does, but, you know, how
you
lively is
better
it really gonna feel?
you better put stuff out there in that world for me to do.
Yeah,
Give
exactly.
me a reason to explore,
Yeah,
because as like Avowed is a great example. Yeah, once you killed everybody in each zone, then there was nothing, no enemies or anything to interact with there. What that game did though, every every place that you went to, every hill that you climbed, mountain you scaled, like cave you went into, there was a reward for you somewhere.
right.
Because it's like there's always a chest somewhere. There was always something for you, and if you hadn't found it yet, it was around the corner. It's like that was a game that like rewarded you for exploring. There's
Yeah.
always stuff. So it's like if you're gonna give me a big open world to explore, better put stuff in there for me to do or stuff for me to find.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'm gonna start beelining for the quest and end it.
Yeah. Yeah, I can understand where you're coming from because like that's one thing was me and you both have played multiple open world games where it's like the world just feels boring and lifeless. Hell, Hogwarts Legacy was one. It's like besides
Yeah,
Hogwarts, what was the point of that game?
yeah. It's one where like this Fable game, I'll play it, but it's like especially in 2026, it's not gonna be like when I played Fable 2 and I just spent like I would go and like do the little daily jobs at like the bar or the smith or something like that. I'm not gonna be doing it's like I'll do it once to try it probably, but I'm not gonna sit there for an hour playing around doing it like I did back then.
Right.
It's like I'm gonna test it out and then I'm gonna go about my business because there's other stuff to do.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's where it's like that's a lot of what they talked about was the just kind of hang out and see how stuff goes. So it's like, oh, it's cool. Hopefully you make me want to do that. But right now I don't have the faith that I'm gonna want to do that.
Yeah. And you know, we'll get another trailer over the summer, you know, at the Xbox Game
Oh
Showcase.
yeah. It's
Yeah.
like we'll see more about it. And it could be one where it's like when we actually get our hands on it and play it, I may be coming in. I may be coming on the show and talking about all the characters I'm talking to, how I can't leave the town because I'm there talking with everybody. I don't see myself doing that, but there's a possibility that it ends up happening that way.
Right. Yeah. No, my initial reaction from everything from it is that I really think Playground's got something cooking, but you know, me and you like we're both interested in two different things for the game, so that's where I can see the kind of the differing of thoughts. Like you want to see more of that open world, like action adventure. What am I can do? And I'm pumped as hell for the living population. I think they did a great job with that, but I do agree with you 1000%. Is that world going to feel lifeless or not? Is it going to be just like a pretty painting for me to stare at, or am I going to have shit to do?
Yeah,
Hopefully, I'll have shit to do.
yeah, yeah. Don't make me a pretty world that I'm just traveling through. Make me a pretty world that I'm constantly doing stuff in.
Sure, sure, I can agree with
Like
that.
give me that pretty world that they've shown off to us with like the density of Tainted Grail
Hmm.
of like with the everything to do in that game.
Yeah.
It's like do me something like that, and then you've got something cooked.
Right. Hey, shout out to Tana Girl as well. They passed 1 million sold.